They say a single second can last forever. Inside a shadowy concrete parking garage, a fleeting moment of adolescent chase is about to freeze time for two families. Yahkeim Lollar, known to his community as Keimo, was an 18-year-old high school senior and a standout running back for Miami Northwestern. In South Florida, high school football serves as a major community anchor, and Keimo was looking toward graduation and a career as a stockbroker. The other teenager in the stairwell was 17-year-old Jahara Malik. It was December 20th, 2024, in the dense, vibrant neighborhood of Little Haiti in Miami. Surveillance footage captured the two darting in and out of view in what appeared to be a high-energy game. But when they reappeared on camera, the play had vanished. Keimo was bleeding profusely from his chest. His sudden collapse marked the brutal end of a private interaction and the start of a massive criminal investigation. Malik's defense team framed the stabbing as a tragic accident. They argued the encounter was reckless horseplay with unintended consequences, emphasizing that Malik stayed at the scene, called 911, and attempted life-saving measures. The prosecution countered that narrative with the physical evidence. They presented the primary weapon, a knife featuring a distinctive pink handle and a 4-inch blade. This animated diagram illustrates the forensic reality of the wound. The blade was driven into Keimo's chest to its absolute maximum depth. It passed entirely through his clothing and muscle, clipped a rib, and pierced his heart. The forensic investigators matched the wound depth exactly to the length of the knife. This points to a crucial standard regarding the legal concept of foreseeability. If a person introduces a concealed, lethal weapon into a highly volatile physical altercation, the situation crosses the threshold from careless play into criminal negligence. In the eyes of the court, bringing a 4-inch blade to a physical chase creates a scenario where severe injury or death is highly predictable. The sheer physical force required to inflict a full-depth wound negates the defense of an accidental collision, satisfying the criteria for a manslaughter charge. 16 months later, in May of 2026, the case reached its climax inside the Richard E. Gerstein Justice Building. The courtroom was physically divided, with Keimo's supporters wearing memorial T-shirts on one side and Malik's family seated on the other. Despite Malik being 17 at the time of the stabbing, the state attorney's office utilized Florida's direct file statute. This mechanism bypasses the juvenile court system and its focus on rehabilitation, allowing prosecutors to charge older teenagers as adults for serious offenses. The journey to this sentencing hearing was defined by procedural friction. For over a year, the defense requested continuances to prepare their case. Keimo's family protested outside the state attorney's office, forming the Justice for Keimo movement as their prolonged grief hardened into profound anger. The systemic delays of the judicial process meant the victim's family had to wait nearly a year and a half for a resolution. This extended timeline intensified the public pressure, converting a private tragedy into a highly visible community demand for maximum adult accountability. Inside the hearing, the atmosphere was highly volatile. When the prosecution played the stark parking garage surveillance footage of the final moments of the chase, the gallery erupted in anguish, forcing several family members to flee the room in tears. During the victim impact statements, Keimo's mother, Natalie Jean, introduced a devastating detail. She revealed to the court that just 8 days before the stabbing, her son had attempted to end his relationship with Malik. That timeline provided the judge with a clear context of domestic instability. It offered a potential motive that deeply undermined the defense's persistent narrative of innocent, playful behavior. The emotional peak of the hearing arrived when Keimo's aunt, Zeldrina Beecham, stood to speak. Addressing the defendant directly, she called Malik a demon seed that her parents had brought into the world to cause suffering. The intense, dehumanizing language echoing through the gallery exposes a harsh reality. The clinical, procedural mechanisms of the criminal justice system are engineered to measure guilt and assign time, but they are entirely unequipped to process or heal human wreckage of this magnitude. Ultimately, Judge Christine Hernandez denied the defense's motion to classify Malik as a youthful offender, a designation that would have capped her sentence at 6 years and sent her to a corrections boot camp. Instead, the judge applied a symbolic year-for-a-year logic to the punishment. Because Malik was exactly 17 years old when she took Keimo's life, she was sentenced to 17 years in an adult Florida state prison. Following her release, Malik will serve 5 years of reporting probation. But Judge Hernandez attached a highly specific, mandated condition to this supervisory period. Malik must write a formal letter to the court every December 20th. The physical confinement is only the first phase of the state's penalty. The court carefully layered the punishment to balance the severe finality of the crime with the long-term reintegration of a defendant who will spend her entire young adulthood behind bars. This chart highlights the unique legal application of cognitive accountability. By requiring Malik to outline the events of the parking garage and reflect on the damage caused every single year, the court uses a legal tool engineered to prevent the psychological suppression of her guilt. Through this written mandate, the probation department establishes a longitudinal record of her rehabilitative progress. It ensures the defendant is legally forbidden from ever forgetting the exact anniversary or the devastating consequences of the life she took. Before sentencing, Malik addressed the court in a final plea for leniency, stating, "The family wants me in prison, but I'm in my own prison for the rest of my life." She will spend the next 17 years inside a physical cell to match her internal one. But while the state can successfully enforce a sentence, it cannot manufacture peace for families shattered by adolescent